Over the last 2 years, Minecraft has evolved exponentially due to a shift in how they update the game. This began with the Aquatic update, which saw a revitalization of an entire portion of the overworld, followed by the Village and Pillage update, and now the Nether update. And because of how massive these updates are, the community is constantly brainstorming potential themes for future updates. One of them, of course, is the very popular Cave update, which, if done right, would change Minecraft forever. That being said, my name is SystemZ, and what if Minecraft had a cave update? Before we get started, a large portion of my viewers are currently unsubscribed. So if you like what you see and you enjoy my videos, consider subscribing. It's completely free and you'll even be notified whenever I upload a video. Updating caves would be big news for Minecraft. I mean, it's right there in the name. Take away craft and you are left with mine. So if an update like this were to exist, it would certainly need to be done right. Otherwise, the game could lose balance and be changed negatively forever. But relax, I am here to make sure that wouldn't happen. But before we continue, why should the risk be taken at all? Does Minecraft really need a cave update? In short, yes, definitely. For the typical player, their first few hours playing Minecraft is likely spent in caves, collecting resources to equip for the adventures ahead of them. So for the player's first impressions, caves certainly need to pack a punch, something they most certainly do not do as of now. Caves are incredibly bland and feature generally nothing unique from the overworld, apart from, well, ores. Anyways, you get the point. So let's talk about how a cave update may look. From this point on, we're going to continue as almost a hypothetical changelog to make sure that each feature is clear and easy to follow. First and foremost, the underground height should be doubled, expanding to make space for more features and better exploration. This could introduce a layering system, perhaps making it more difficult to mine and more dangerous to explore the further you go down. From there, the actual generation of caves should be updated, because as of right now, well, you get the point. From caves to massive caverns, new generation could introduce a ton of new possibilities. Like, for example, biomes. Keeping layers in mind, the first layer could be made up of cave biomes, respective to their above surface biomes, and even some that are completely unique to the underground. Like, for example, a jungle biome. We are directly underneath a jungle right now, where as you can see, on layer 1 of the underground, the caves look a lot like the jungle. I think it would be fantastic to have caves that are specific to their above ground partner. In this case, you can see that we've got a lot of jungle related blocks as well as a completely new stone type. This is just one example at how many new blocks and items could be added to the game if we had biome specific caves. Now you can see the shiny new ore at the end of the cave as well. Now I'm going to be talking about the new ores and various different blocks a little bit later in the video, but for now, let's just admire how this looks from an aesthetic point of view. I mean, as you can see, there are so many different things to explore as far as new content, and this is only one biome. There are countless different biomes in the game, so imagine various different biomes that match those caves. Like for example, ice caves for the colder biomes of Minecraft. As you can see, this biome is incredibly different than the jungle biome in terms of contrast. I mean, the blocks alone definitely give you a different feel for the environment that you're in. And if you're strip mining, this is a great way to find the various biomes of Minecraft. Now this one is made up of sapphire, which is a new loot. Again, I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video, as well as a new block type that perhaps is coldstone, and various different snowy and ice materials. I mean, as you can see, the water is cold to the touch. Perhaps there could even be a frostbite effect that whenever you're in the correct temperature, it's going to be freezing. And unless you have an appropriate amount of gear or enchantments, it actually hurts you. This is just one way that we could dress caves up to be just a little bit more interesting. When you're exploring the overworld, it's fun because there's various biomes. Caves, however, as it currently stands, no matter where you're at, they're all just stone, granite, diorite, and andesite. Whereas with this, we'd have different blocks for each biome, and therefore different atmospheres. But this is just one example for existing biomes in the overworld. What if caves had completely original biomes? Like for example, my new favorite biome, which is heavily inspired from the glowing mushroom biome in Terraria. I love the idea of having a poisonous mushroom biome underground. And as you can see, I've actually been poisoned, and that's because these mushrooms are actually poisonous mushrooms. You can see that this biome is glowing. We've got a new light material, a shroom light there, that's actually white, so you can use it for very modern light sources. We've also got loads of new plants that actually, if you look closely, they shimmer, and I think it really brings this biome to life. We've also got shroomite, which again is very inspired from Terraria, and again I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. But just to give you a heads up, that particular ore can be used to put potion effects on your weapons. But that's just one example at how outrageous this could get. I mean, even for building materials, this place is beautiful, and just imagine being able to actually find something like this amongst various other types of cave biomes underneath the overworld. I love this idea. We could have crystal caves, for example. Those crystals could be used to create colored lighting. The possibilities are truly endless. Wasn't that exciting? Sure, those were just examples, but it gives you an idea at how amazing caves could be. Going back to the discussion of layers, the second layer could introduce a new type of biome known as a formation, a mini pocket of unique blocks, ores, and more. My favorite example of a formation would be the slate and marble formations. Now, in this case, I have combined them, but you would imagine that they would each be their own formation. The way this would work is on the second layer of the underground, you would essentially have a bunch of different formations. They wouldn't necessarily be their own large portion of a cave biome, but you might find giant strands of them scattered around the place. Now these would be more for resource gathering and gathering blocks that could not otherwise be found in any areas of the game. In this case, we have slate and marble, which as you can see, I've got a shulker box full of amazing blocks that this could add. Now again, I will be going over all of the different blocks you've seen so far, but to really get you excited for that, this particular formation could bring onyx, slate, polished slate, and slate bricks. Now slate bricks are incredibly cool, and the reason I'm showing you this now is to give you an example as to why more blocks through formations would be amazing. Now imagine that you are building a house and you need a very interesting new block for a roof. You could easily use these dyed bricks to create a really nice looking shingle for your roof. Now I've talked about slate before, as well as marble. As you can see, it looks fantastic. Formations really introduce a ton of new material to the game. Not to mention they could even have their own special mobs. Now I might have an example of what one of those may look like by the end of the video, so stay tuned and of course let me know what you think of that down in the comments below. But slate is definitely one of my favorite new materials. I would love to be able to explore the second layer of the cave systems and find very unique different biomes. Plus, they could always add more in future updates. It's an expandable system that allows the cave systems to constantly be upgraded with new blocks and new building materials. So, that being said, that is essentially that idea for formations. Genuinely, what more could you ask for? So far, the cave update is looking pretty spectacular. Not only would the first and second layers introduce awesome new content, but the third and potentially even fourth layers could offer more as well. But let's put the concept of layers behind us. Throughout this video, I've been showing examples of what new blocks may be added, as well as new ores and more. So let's take a moment to familiarize ourselves with some of these new ideas. As promised, here is a lineup of all of the blocks and ore ideas that you've seen in this video, as well as an example at a potential mob that would be perfect for the cave update. And that, of course, being the Golem, a new mob that would spawn exclusively in the upper layers of the underground. And the way that it would attack is it would ball up into a stone and ram nearby blocks trying to get to you as the player. So you better be properly equipped, especially because you might even find an ore embedded golem, like the gold golem for example, which would actually inherit the properties of gold. It would be faster, but a little bit weaker, whereas a diamond golem could be stronger, but a little bit more rare to find. That's just one example of a mob that could spawn in the cave update. You could also imagine variants of creepers, skeletons, and even zombies depending on the biome that you're in. And that of course brings us to blocks and ores. Now, for the sake of time, I'm very quickly going to go through these, because after all, you have already seen them. This, my friends, is limestone, which you saw in the jungle biome, as well as a jungle-specific ore that has yet to be named. I really just did it for an example, so let me know what you think this would do down in the comments below. After that, we've of course got cold stone and sapphire, which could be used to upgrade your tools in a smithing table to be better underwater. After that, we've got the poison biome, which honestly I love because it's a little bit closer to home in that I made these resources. I think they look amazing, and I am incredibly proud of them. Now that brings us to Shroomite, which is a powerful new ore that would allow you to upgrade your tools by putting potion effects on them. Now I have a video about alchemy coming soon, which is probably going to touch a little bit more on this, so make sure you are subscribed and those notifications are on so that you don't miss it. Following that, we have marble and slate, which you have already seen, as well as onyx ore, which would allow you to combine with gold to make studded golden tools, which would have the speed of gold, but a better durability, so that it's actually a little bit better than iron. And last but certainly not least, we've got the slate bricks, which can be dyed and used as a building material. Now honestly, this is just scratching the surface, or should I say beneath the surface, of what a cave update could offer. There are countless possibilities as far as ore goes, blocks, mobs, biomes, and more. New blocks, new ores, new mobs, new uses for the smithing table, new generation, new biomes, and last but certainly not least, new sounds. The perfect way to wrap this idea for a cave update together is to bring in new sounds and ambience for the caves, the same way they've done for the Nether. Imagine exploring underground and hearing calming winds, shifting rocks, dripping water, and the echoes of the mobs around you. Ambience brings the game to life in a way that just cannot be done with new features alone. All of these features together would make for the perfect cave update, at least in my opinion. And now you know. What would Minecraft look like if it had a cave update? That's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing and turning on notifications so that you never miss an upload. And like I said, that's going to be it for today. My name has been System Z. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.